Hello, everybody. How are you? I hope everything is okay where you are. And honestly, today I bring this topic because, you know, mm, it's my duty and share with you immigration matters. More common, it's about when you are an holder for a resident card here in my country, in Mexico. And you need to understand something completely important for you is an obligation for you and Mexican immigration law explain about it. The always if you are here in Mexico, whatever you are, you need to bring with you your resident card. Yes, and honestly, mm, you need to understand that always I heard for certain residents, um, older residents who they're living here in Mexico. They explain something completely wrong. I am so sure for it because maybe they didn't happen something completely difficult because I understand my culture. I understand that sometimes the Mexican people when they saw foreigners, they respect them and they are friendly with them. The authority, of course, sometimes they are helpful with them in certain difficult circumstance, but immigration staff and National Immigration Institute or Instituto Nacional de Migración, they don't when they apply certain duties. Then I'm going to explain with you in this stream. Honestly, it's very important for you know it because believe me, maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow or the next week, the next month or the next year. But one day might be happen to you and you need to be prepared if you suffer this situation when one day immigration staff retain you, retain you, your trip and taking you at the INN office because you are not able to prove your legal stay here in my country. Okay? You are resident. You are legal resident. Your resident card is not expired. But you are not able to prove your legal stay here in my country than another country who they apply their own enforcement law about migration matters. Of course, you have a penalty and responsibility, legal responsibility. In Mexico, it's not an exception. It's something completely normal, but it's not common. It's special, and sometimes you need to be prepared for it. Okay? What is the topic? The topic is this one, guys. It's about no card, big trouble. What do you mean that? I know certain cultures have this habit about they didn't bring their documents with them. It's not necessary for them. It's very normal. Live in your home, your ID, your passport, maybe your Your driver license is the only ID document for you, and all important documents for identify you for any authority is not important for you because maybe it's not common. Yes, here in Mexico, try to ask any Mexican people who you saw on the street, on the center, or your neighbor. Hey, you bring your ID with you, wherever you go. They will say you yes. Why? Because bring with you a identification. It's important because you didn't know why might be happen on your way. But that ID is your identification. A lot Mexican people bring that because they need to do duties, they need to do certain procedures, bureaucracy procedures, and more because in certain, you know, um, local convenience market, for example, when you're trying to identify your membership, or maybe you need to go to the those famous bar. I don't know how to say that in English, maybe pop, I think so. And you need to bring your ID because it's important for you and identify you. Yes, sometimes the authority are in different strategy spot. They stop your way and they ask, hey, trying to identify who are you? No matter what, you are Mexican. You need to identify, okay? More if you don't respect the light traffic, for example, sometimes when you are in a speed, you broken certain rules because you're driving completely fast, for example. Um, Authority stopped you and they need to identify. Yes, it is said in another country, of course, but in immigration matters, change the context. Why? Because if you are foreigner, if you are resident, no matter what, you say them, hey, this is my passport, um, and this is the copy of my passport, this is my copy about my resident card, whatever. If you don't bring physical your ID, they have that faculty stop at you. They have the faculty taking you at the near INM office. Yes, I'm gonna explain with you more in this stream. Okay. Well, imagine that there's a woman, a young woman, and trying to trip to my country. She's resident. Imagine that she's resident. She on the bus, but unfortunately, on the way, in certain spot, in a special spot, this bus, pass for these famous reviews, authorities reviews. In those reviews are Marine, soldiers, National Guard, and INM staff too. Yes, they stop them commercial bus. For example, this famous company here in my country is ADO, ADO in Spanish. They are so common in the south of my country because those commercial bus go to famous, for example, Cancun, Tulum, Mérida, Campeche, those famous places, okay, in Mexican cities. The problem here is when you fall In that circumstance, that this commercial boss pass over authority reviews, and those authority reviews are INM staff. They have the faculty to stop that boss. Okay, then goes what in each sitting when the people are sit and ask, identify who are you, and you are Mexican. Who are you? Ah, you are tourist. Okay, whatever question. Yes, but unfortunately, this woman, she didn't have something to identify. She say, I'm resident here in Mexico. I'm temporary resident here in Mexico. And the INM staff asked, okay, identify you. Show me your resident card. But she didn't have anything because maybe it was for her take this bus because she will drive to Merida, for example. She was in Cancun, and Cancun spent her time. She bring only resident card copy, and she show only that copy. Yes, but in this circumstance, INM staff have this faculty to enforce rules, enforce the Mexican immigration law about you need to identify. Okay, more if you are foreigner and if you are resident. But well, she didn't have anything to identify, either her resident card. Well, INN staff taking her to an immigration station. Okay, what happened in this circumstance? Let me explain with you more. In this streaming, I'm going to explain with you four subtopics. The first is what is a resident card and why it is your most important immigration document. Okay? The second, random immigration checks. When, how, and what they occur. Three, what can happen if you don't bring your resident card with you? And the last one, real benefits of always carrying your resident card. Okay? Maybe in my introduction, in my overview, I explain with you certain keywords, yes? But in this streaming, you will know what happens if you don't bring your resident card. Yes, more if you are resident here in my country. You are foreigner. Because I told you in the beginning, Mexican people is very common, is very familiar, bring their ID because it's your identification. Sometimes the authority asks, hey, who are you? Identify you. You are Mexican? Where you live? Whatever. Okay? Very well. Let's do it. According to Mexican immigration law, this is in English, in the Article 19.8, explain this paragraph. If during the immigration review it is detected that a foreigner does not have documents that prove his or her regular immigration status in the country, the terms of Article 100 of this law will be followed. What do you mean that? In this paragraph, you need to understand keywords, which immigration reviews, foreigners who they doesn't have documents that prove his or her regular immigration status. Yes, immigration status, another keyword. Immigration status. In this article, explain that. But what do you mean, Article 100? Okay, I'm going to explain with you more about it. And you need to understand this article explain and start something with you. The famous um, PAM, Procedimiento Administrativo Migratorio, Migratory Administrative Procedure, maybe in English, might be that. But Procedimiento Administrativo Migratorio is something that start with you if you are not able to prove your regular immigration status here in my country. No matter what, if you are resident here in my country, if you don't bring and document have proof that you are here completely legal, immigration staff that have that faculty to stop you. Yes, more if you are expired, if you are tourist and you are expired here, and you don't fall in certain categories to regulate your immigration status here in my country, immigration staff have the faculty to return you at your country. This is a bad room for you because if you do the same, overstay your tourist status here, maybe you will fall in this migratory alert or alerta migratoria. Okay, this is a biggest example. But if you are resident, happens too. No migratory alert, but you will live difficult moments because you need to prove your immigration status here in my country. Yes, your words mm, doesn't have value with the immigration staff. Okay, what do you mean reviews? This is a biggest example, guys. I show you image because I'm trying to explain with you this topic in English because English is not my mother language, but I'm trying to do the best explain with you what happens if you don't bring your resident card with you. This is the famous review. Maybe you saw those immigration reviews in different places here in my country. And fortunately, you pass those reviews because you are able to prove your immigration status. You identify at them, yes, and maybe they didn't stop your commercial boss, yes. Maybe they don't pay attention at your boss. But if you one day suffer something like this, that immigration staff stop your commercial boss, you need to prove first who are you, and second your immigration status. Okay. Another example, and this one, you need to understand that always are in these immigration reviews, always immigration staff are along with Marine, soldiers, National Guard, between another authorities. Yes, but it's important for them. It's important for INM staff have bases to be there. Yes. However, these circumstance immigration reviews is a special duties for them. It's not common. But if you suffer the circumstance immigration reviews, you need to prove immigration status. Okay? This is another example. However, exists another legal term for these immigration matters. The key word is verification, immigration verification. This happens, imagine that you got your resident card by a job offer. Yes, in the Mexican consulate, you prove that you have a job offer for Mexican companies. You came here in Mexico, you got your resident card, and you are working with a Mexican company. Okay, but sometimes INM staff comes to Mexican at your Mexican company. They try to ask, hey, and this person work here. Give me the list about how many foreigners working in your company. the owners, yes, in that Mexican company. This is not common, but what happens here? If you are not able to prove your resident card, your immigration status, no matter what you appear in that list, you are legal. Your resident card is not expired, but if they ask for your ID, for your resident card, and you didn't bring it, unfortunately, INM staff have that faculty to take in you. Yes, no matter what you are in working time, you need to go with them. Well, they taken you. Yes, it's an obligation for you. Well, in this circumstance, you happens the most tough moment with them. Yes, because you need to prove. You need to have someone who bring with your resident card or whatever. Okay, but well, I'm going to explain with you more later about it. But this is another key: immigration verification. The first is immigration review. The second is immigration verification. The second topic is subtopic is what is a resident card and why is your most important immigration document. I'm going to explain with you completely quick this subtopic because maybe you know it, but you didn't know it. He just thinking that this resident card is something completely unnecessary. You make a mistake because that resident card that you hold right now, it's important. Yes. The resident card is the official document that proves you have valid legal residency in Mexico. It is not simple an ID. It is the immigration equivalent of your legal status within the country. Okay? You are not a tourist, you are a resident. If you prove that you are a resident, or if you say at any authority, hey, I am a resident here, I'm temporary residency, I'm permanent residency, whatever status you have, you are not able to prove that for that authority, you are nothing because you are not able to prove it. The Mexican uh, oh well, I'm trying to say the Mexican system law, yes, Mexican system law, different at the common law on US in US, sorry. In this circumstance, whatever you do, whatever trial, whatever legal process, you need to prove. Yes, in criminal law, you need to prove. If you are innocent, you are someone who didn't commit that crime, you need to prove. Not with words, not because the witness or whatever person and side, yeah, they are important, they are evidence, but you need to prove more. How? With documents, okay, with videos, with pictures, whatever. In the Mexican system law, always you need to prove whatever you say. Yes. In this circumstance, in immigration matters, it's the same. You need to prove you're resident. No matter what you say, hey, I'm resident here in Mexico. Okay, prove me. Show me your resident card. I don't have my resident card. Okay, for me, you are not a resident. Why? Because you are not able to prove your resident card. I need to sign. You need to show me your resident card. The authority have the faculty to do it. Okay? And however, your resident card it's important for you. You need to bring that. I know certain foreigners they are not used to bring it, the ID, because maybe in their country it's not necessary. Maybe it's not common for that. It's more easy for them to bring the driver license because of course it's important for them when they drive, of course. But here in Mexico, it's very important bring your ID. For Mexican people, it's important for us bring always with us our ID. Yes, for residents too, the resident card. Okay. However, what do you mean random immigration checks? When? how and why they occur. I told you in the beginning exists two immigration keys: immigration verification, immigration review. I share with you certain examples, but in the Mexican immigration law, explain what do you mean immigration verification, what do you mean immigration reviews. You need to be familiar with those immigration keywords. Why? Because I told you it's not common, but when this circumstance happens, you need to be prepared. You need to prepare your resident card. Okay? Immigration verification, according to those articles 92, 94, 95, 96, National Immigration Institute need to justify and motivate any process. Yes, any duty, they need to justify and motivate it. They need to have basis. Yes, according those articles, very general, taking the most important points is the institute will carry out verification visit to verify that foreigners who are in national territory comply with the obligation provided for this law and regulation. What do you mean that? Means that if immigration, INM, INM staff comes at your home or at your work, you need to prove your immigration status with your resident card. Okay? If you don't do that, I told you, INM staff have the faculty taking you at any immigration station, okay? Or in the same office. Maybe in the same office are that famous immigration station, okay? You need to understand that. This is mean immigration verification. Immigration verification always happens when they need to verify certain Mexican companies because in those Mexican companies are working foreigners, or maybe they need to go in any neighborhood because for any, you know, for someone in Kotnik, someone say, hey, in that neighborhood living a lot foreigners. Okay, immigration and immigration staff or INM staff need to go in that neighborhood and verify if those foreigners are legal here in Mexico. Don't confuse that. That is the same as US in US. Sorry, it's almost the same, but unfortunately in Mexico it's not common. Why? Because we don't have. Well, INM INM doesn't have many resources or yes, how to say workforce to do it because it's a cost for them to do it. Yes, they don't have biggest accounts to pay for it. Yes, they have short workers and they need to use the simple resources. Yes, but when when INM staff or when I in that INM office, whatever Mexican state need to do it and immigration verification, they goes. Yes, and they go because it's necessary for them understand what happens in that Mexican company in that neighbor. Yes, that I told you. In that circumstance, you are not legal here in my country. If you don't bring your resident card with you, those immigration staff have that faculty. in taking you. Yes, and if you are not able, if you don't prove you legal stay here in my country, and if you don't fall in family unit, or you don't prove you legal stay here, INM have the faculty to give you an official leave. Yes, official leave, official document that they request you that you need to leave to my country. Yes, in 1 day, or 2 days, or 3 days. But if you don't obey that document, official document, they will deport you. Okay, and this is the bad circumstance for you. But always you need to prove it. Not with words, with documents. Okay, the second point is immigration review. Immigration reviews, I told you, is when someday, in sometimes, in certain spot, in a special spot here in my country, are authorities reviews. And those authority reviews are the INM staff, yes. But I told you, if they participate in those authority reviews, they need to have justify and motivate. Yes, it's not because they want. No, the Mexican government related to that institute, and it will another in the top who handle and is the boss for this institute, and need to justify and motivate. Yes, it's not because they want it. No, they need to have something who give that authorization to do it. Yes, but when this happens, when these immigration reviews happens, according to those articles 1997 and 1908, explain it. In addition to the established places for the international transit, mhm, of people, the institute might carry out immigration reviews within the national territory to verify the immigration status of foreigners. Yes, the difference than immigration verification, immigration review is not always, but this circumstance always happens. Yes, in different points here in my country. Here you are here, close to Yucatan and Quintana Roo and Campeche. Maybe you are able to see those immigration staff who they are in a special spot, verify commercial bus, verify private vehicle, whatever. Yes, but if you are in those circumstances, the point here is you need to prove with your resident card, okay? Because they will ask at you about your resident card, okay? But Luis, okay, thank you. Thank you for explaining me about it. But the point here, why is necessary for me know it? Because maybe I don't know why it's necessary. Give me and tell me what happened. Okay, in this topic, what can happen if you don't bring your resident card with you? They are the points. What? This is the point, sorry. The point is, not having your card with you doesn't automatically mean a penalty. Yes, it's not something completely criminal. The difference at the US that is the same. There is no criminal circumstance. It's an immigration circumstance, administrator circumstance, of course, the same as Mexico. But the point here is the same complication. U.S. and Mexico is almost the same in this matter, in immigration matters, because you are not able to prove your immigration status with your document, official document. They taken you, yes, and this process, legal process, it called presentation. Okay, this is the name and the legal process. The name is presentation. What do you mean presentation? According to Mexican migration law, in the articles 99 and 100, explain it. Mm, Give me a second. Okay, I'm here. Sorry, I am allergic. The dust, the um, the temperature, it's in Merida change always the climate. Well, the weather always change here in Merida. It does affect my allergic. Okay, very well. Return. What do you mean presentation? According those articles I explained with you, 99 and 100, explain presentation of foreigners means to the measure detailed by the institute through which the temporary accommodation of a foreigner who does not prove his or her immigration status is agreed upon for the regularization of his stay or assistance for return. Okay, in this migration administrator procedure, proceso administrativo migratorio, is something that always is complicated for foreigners. Because, for example, you are resident, you are legal here, your resident card doesn't expire, but you need to bring your resident card, but you are not able to live in that office. Yes, you need to ask for someone who bring with you your resident card. But imagine that if you are completely far or far away in that INM office at your home, and you need to wait for longer hours. Okay, unfortunately, that trip to go to any Mexican city here in my country, maybe you visualize right now because we are in holy vacations. You planning to go to Cancun or maybe Tulum. Unfortunately, INM staff stopped you on your way and you pay for hotels or maybe you pay your Airbnb. You plan anything, but unfortunately, INM staff cut you on the way and they taken you at, at any INM office closed in that place. Well, you need to prove your resident card. You need to ask for someone who bring your resident card. Yes, maybe that circumstance will be completely easy for you if you are living close there. But if no, um, Mexican immigration law is plain. You need to are there according to those articles. I'm gonna explain with you. Mm, yeah, sorry, I'm allergic. According to Article 11100, you need to have in those immigration presentation immigration presentation for 15 business day. But a lot immigration lawyers fought for this circumstance because according to Mexican immigration law and Mexican system law, that time is completely unconstitutional Um, the the Mexican Constitution in certain article explain in administration procedures you need to stay for 36 36 hours retain on your freedom. Okay, the authority have that obligation to retain you only 36 hours. But imagine that you stay in that immigration station or that immigration office for 36 hours. It's for longer time for you. Okay, maybe would be completely stressful, maybe boring or whatever, and you need to stay there until someone bring with you your resident card. Okay, maybe your friend, your husband, your wife, and your facilitator or someone who you trust that enter in your home and trying to find out your resident card. Okay, but if you suffer this circumstance, you are not able to live in that office until someone bring with you your resident card. Yes, because on the way you didn't bring it. In this circumstance happens like this. Okay. The point here is if you don't prove it, according the Mexican system law, if INM staff overpass this timeline 36 hours and you fall in these benefits to have you stay here almost legal, yes, but INM staff they they don't want it. They don't want it. Why? Because they decided to give you an assistance for return, or maybe yes, or they say you, hey, you need to live here in Mexico. Okay, that is the most uh, the most common circumstance here in my country. You need to saw immigration statistic that someone who they fall in presentation and unfortunately they don't fall in certain categories. They don't are able to prove their legal stay here in my country and they need to leave to my country. Yes, in this circumstance, if you are resident but you don't bring your resident card, you are able to prove it, but you need to wait in that immigration office until someone bring with you your resident card. But you need to understand that depend the time between your office and your home. You need to stay there. Okay, maybe this is someone not only completely difficult, but imagine visualize you stay in that immigration office for 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, stay there and hopes for someone bring with you your resident card. Imagine that you are alone. Yes, you are alone here. They have information about you, of course, because they understand that you are a resident card. Maybe they don't put you that circumstance to bring your resident card because I told you they have your information, but they might be put you fine. I don't know because the INN staff, INN office has that faculty, that discretional faculty to do anything with you. Of course, with justify and motivation. Yes, they need to have basis. But those circumstances affect your immigration background here in my country. Okay, you need to be aware about it. But well, this is does mean presentation of foreigners. Presentation is when they taken and they bring with you at any immigration station or immigration office because you don't have your resident card with you. Because on your way to Cancun, to Tulum, to Puerto Morelos, or to Puerto Vallarta, or whatever, you didn't bring your resident card. Yes, you are not able to prove your legal stay as a resident here in my country, and unfortunately, they taken you. Okay, this is happens. This is mean presentation of foreigners. However, my recommendation for you is the real benefits of always carrying your resident card. Maybe you understand that is give you peace of mind because right now, or maybe you didn't realize it. I understand that. Maybe you didn't hear this topic because in different YouTube channel they didn't explain you about it. I saw some comments in certain Facebook group who they explain with you, hey, in this place happened immigration verification or whatever in in my work are or where the INM staff or whatever. Yes, and you maybe you saw it in different Facebook group, but you didn't see it right now. You know it. Yes, that this circumstance, immigration verification or immigration views reviews is not common, but it happens. You need to prove your resident status here in my country. Okay, and always bring your resident card, no matter what. If you go to the beach, no matter what, if you go to any entertainment place, try to bring your resident card. Why? Because if one day the authority, in more the immigration authority, stop at your way, they have the faculty to ask for your immigration status here in my country. They're the National Guard, not the police, because well, they have the faculty to ask for it, but they don't have that faculty to stop your way. Yes, because they are not authority. They are not immigration authority. But if the immigration authority stopped you and you don't bring your resident card, you know it right now what happens. Okay. Another point, you avoid misunderstandings because I told you in the Mexican system law, the only proof is with document, not with the word. No, because for you copy your document copy. No, no, you need to show official documents. Your resident card is your official document. Okay, try to understand that because I understand for foreigners and more for U.S. citizenship, they understand that in the U.S. system law, the common law is very common for it's very normal for them to argument. Yes, prove it, but more important for them is who have the best argument. Yes, in my country doesn't work like this. In the Mexican system law, you apart your argument, you need to prove with evidence. Yes, official evidence. What are those official evidence? Something who you are able to prove. Yes, that the judge are able to read, the judge are able to compare with their the someone who warrant you or the authority who warrant you whatever. Okay. In this circumstance, you need to prove, and your resident card is the only document that you are able to prove your resident card, not and copy. Yes, because I saw it in different Facebook group for someone. Hey, you are able to read and copy. It doesn't happen nothing, anything. Sorry, but unfortunately happens. Not always, but in it's in special moments. Streaming lines verification, because I told you before, if you don't read that, unfortunately, they have that faculty to take in you. You maybe stay for that immigration status for longer, immigration office for longer time. You need to happen certain ways time for proof it. Yes, and you need to do it. And the someone is and the last one, sorry, is strengthen your legal compliance. Bring your resident card with you. Maybe someone asks right now, hey Luis, is maybe more easy for me to show my Mexican visa because in my passport have my Mexican visa. In that Mexican visa say I am a resident. The point here is my answer is unfortunately I am a staff here in Mexico have this faculty to stop you because Mexican visa is when you exchange that document for your resident card. However, in Mexico, the only document who proves that you are resident here in my country is not your Mexican visa. It's a stamp on your passport. Only document that proves you are resident, no matter what your Mexican visa say resident, is your resident card. Okay, don't confuse that because you understand. Maybe you are resident, know it. When you exchange your Mexican visa, it's because you made or you did this canje procedure to exchange your Mexican visa to resident card. Okay? Okay, guys, very well. And guys, this is the topic for today. Honestly, I hope and this information is completely useful for you. And thank you so much. You will stay with me in the end with me, honestly. And thank you so much. Thank you for your time, and thank you for your patience, for your empathic. Stay here with me. And I told you, immigration matters is very important for me to explain with you because I'm gonna share with you certain articles, immigration articles. For example, in the Mexican immigration law are in Spanish. Yes, those articles, 19.8. Si con motivo de la revisión migratoria, blah 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 blah. If you are able to read in Spanish, dive in those articles who I share with you right now in this presentation. Okay. And another point here is you are able to read in Spanish, you are able to listen in Spanish, you are able to speak in Spanish, you and you are resident here in my country. My advice for you is trying to dive in the immigration matters because while you know it more, you are able to defeat certain abuse, authorities abuse. Yes, you are able to defeat it. Yes, is my advice, guys. But you are not able to read in Spanish, but you are resident here in my country, trying to encourage you learn my language because might be complete. No, yes, will be completely easy for you understand my culture because you are resident. You understand certain part of my culture. But when you speak in Spanish, when you know my language, you really living the real culture here in my country because you are able to understand the Mexican mind. Okay. But well, guys, again, thank you so much for watch this streaming. Please, if you want to support me and trying to follow or subscribe in this channel, if you know someone who is resident here in my country and you think it's necessary know this topic and this important information, share at them this information because it's important for them. And if you are someone who have in mind will get residency here in my country, this information is very important for you. Okay, guys, again, thank you so much. Nos vemos en la próxima. Hasta pronto.